Mr. Geek Protagonist. I was working on another video. I remember coming across this before and I had to check this out. And this is something that's throwing me off. So, Mr. Roger Sweet, the man that created He-Man, started it off as a toy, a toy line thing. He created him, did the thing, and basically pretty much kickstarted an entire franchise, which was my original favorite franchise when I was a kid. I watched He-Man prior to learning about the Hulk, learned about Ninja Turtles. I learned about Superman later through the movie, and then the cartoon shows. But like one of my first major, hey, I discovered this thing was He-Man. I had a lot of He-Man toys, still do. My favorite one was the cap thing that he had a backpack that he could do a super punch. And and what you would do is you would take this it was like a piece of paper, but it had like little things of powder in it, these little dots. And what you would do is you would load it into his backpack, you would turn it, and then you have He-Man do a punch. And whenever you would do a punch, it would pop, kind of like a little pop cap gun thing, with the little caps for the little tiny bits of gunpowder. Same thing, but it was with a sheet of papers, and you would get them and you would put them in and pop, 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 and you would just twist. Favorite He-Man toy. Still to this day, I have it somewhere. And but yeah, all these toys, Man at Arms, the whole lore, all that stuff started with this guy. And right now, he's 90 years old. His wife started a GoFundMe. He's suffering, unfortunately, from dementia. And for the facility that works for them, it's $10,000 a month. Now, I did see on the GoFundMe, it looks like they did pass their goal or whatever, but this is ridiculous. Netflix is about to do, not Netflix, I'm sorry, Amazon is about to do this whole thing with He-Man, right? I think they're even working on a new show. I know He-Man's been on Netflix because he had twice, because you had the He-Man that I always say, the only He-Man I have not gotten all the way through yet, not for it being bad, it's just I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it yet. The series did look like it got better as it went, but I call it He-Man Skip Leg Day. It's when they're all younger. Man at Arms is younger, Teela is younger, Cringer isn't scared, he sounds like he's a wise cat. He had Keldor and stuff. Like I said, he had a huge sword. He-Man Skip Leg Day is what I call it. And then you had the Netflix one that was supposed to be a continuation of the original series and Kevin Smith and all that, right? So you got all this stuff on here that's supposed to be for this He-Man. And years and years and years, from the 80s, the 2000 series, they had a sequel series with the one where they were in space with Skeletor, where He-Man was a lot leaner and had a ponytail, if I remember correctly. And all this stuff through the years, comic books, other mediums, live action movie, about to have another live action movie. All of these things, right? Amazon is pouring tons and tons of money into this. Other studios are. And none of y'all, especially Amazon, none of y'all can help this man with his medical bills, since he's making you Mattel. None of y'all. He's making you billions of dollars from his creation. And I get it. Maybe there's a contract thing that says he's not connected to the creation or the write-off or stuff. I do know people do that or whatever. But at the same time, it's wait a minute. You're a multi-billion-dollar company. Y'all couldn't foot the bill for this man? Because he's about to make you even richer? No? Then comes my next question. Why to get medical assistance does it cost $10,000 a month to get that kind of assistance? What in the ham sandwich and ham hocks is going on here? This medical insurance thing is out of control. I don't care how you slice it. I know some people will sit there and be like, oh, it's socialist. You want to be a socialist. You want to do this. I'm going to be for real with you. Insurance is kind of crazy. Let's say you have homeowners insurance, right? And you got hit with a storm and you did a claim. Now let's say, knock on wood, something else happens, you had to do another claim. maybe 5 months later. Just a rough year on your house or whatever. You know, some of these insurance companies will drop you for that. You could have been paying them for like 10 to 20 years. And because you did 2 claims, they're ready to call you high risk and drop you. Which that is already insane to me. That's my problem with insurance. If you're paying for insurance, you should be able to utilize it when you have insurance. Especially because there's a bunch of years you're paying for it and you never use it. So if you're paying for it and you never use it, they're just pocketing that money. They're not giving you that money back. They're not doing it just to turn around and at some point sit there and go, nah, I don't think we want to cover you anymore. That's a problem. It should be illegal for insurance to drop you just because you had a situation happen. That's my personal opinion. And I'm sorry, medical things should not be as high as they are. It shouldn't cost like $300 for an aspirin at a hospital, or the ambulance ride is like $4,000. Like, that's ridiculous. There should be evened out taxes paid. There should be evened out stuff to pay to have people's medical bills be lower. And the fact that the guy that played Cooper Pauly off of Big Bang Theory, he just goes randomly in there and pays off people's medical bills, which is freaking awesome, because I think he's worth like $43 or $45 million. So he just randomly goes in there, and he like donates to animals and stuff, which is great. But then it does raise the question, why should he have to? Why is it that there's so many GoFundMes of people suffering? And it's like, I'm looking at the government, I'm like, people are working, and even with me working, it's hard for me to get to the medical stuff and the dental and all that stuff. And I have insurance, and it's hard because it's still expensive. And I need to do both myself. I need to get a checkup, and you got to get back to the dentist. Like, this stuff is crazy, but it costs a lot of money. So I'm glad that the GoFundMe was there. His wife put the GoFundMe up, but this says a lot about our country and the things that we should have. I don't care which side of the aisle you lean on or wherever you lean at or anything like that. I think we all can come to an agreement that the medical bills and the insurance bills and stuff are ridiculously high, welly overpriced. And I ain't even talk about the doctors and stuff. I'm just saying, as a whole, these things should be cheaper. I mean, besides you doing your normal doctor's visits and stuff, and even then, you have to, like, a lot of times you have a copay. I'm like, if you're paying like $70 to $80 a month or more for your insurance, why is there a copay? Why? I mean, if you honestly think about it, if you're paying $100 a month for insurance, that's $1,200 a year. Why should you have a copay? I know they got deductibles and all that stuff, but still, it's messed up. And I really hope or wish Amazon and whoever would look at it, from Jeff Bezos and them, and go, hey, you know what? This guy, 90 years old, he's the reason why we even have He-Man and this franchise to do. But, let's just cover his medical bills. And honestly, yeah, and like I said, I don't try to tell people what to do with their money and stuff like that, but I would look at them like, all right, this dude is doing this for us, technically, just by creating it. Maybe we could do something for him. And any of the creators that work for these big, or have done stuff for these big corporations, and for entertainment that they're making continuous hand over fist money for, it would be nice for them to, give back to those creators. Maybe a lot of them that have medical issues, maybe help out and stuff like that, take care. I'm saying it would be nice. I'm not saying they have to, but I think it would be a good gesture if they did. Especially if their franchise, you're making tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of money over the franchise. So, I don't know. That's just my rant. I'm glad that she was able to get him some medical help. I do hope that maybe they'll be able to cover his bills. I still think it's insane that it's $10,000 a month to cover this facility. Who has that? Like, for every one person that could afford $10,000 a month, there's probably 800,000 to 900,000 people who can't afford anywhere near that. Well, love me some He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Hopefully, Amazon and them whoever, Mattel, come out of pocket and try to help this gentleman who basically have made a franchise. I mean, Mattel made their name practically off of that. So hopefully they may be able to come through and help him in his in his final years, his twilight years, so he can be comfortable, him and his wife, and he can have a good send off. And thank you, Mr. Sweet, for creating a really cool space barbarian He-Man character that got me into Sword and Fantasies when Conan and stuff like that, and Solomon Kane and everything, and later Dungeons and Dragons and all that. I definitely hope the best for you, and I'm sorry that you are going through this. Man. Geek Wars Hacking, you stay safe, you stay healthy, stay real. Y'all tell me what you think, and I'll see you.